Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. And in today's video, I wanted to be talking about how to kill sweaty players in this game, or tryhard players, whatever which you want to call them. So I'm going to be talking about how to kill better players in this game, some strategies that I use personally when it comes to fighting these type of players, and exactly how I go about these type of fights. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway for Fortnite Chapter 2. If you guys want to be entered in this giveaway, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, make sure you guys turn on my post notifications so you guys can get notified for every single new video, and as well, leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And real quick, if you guys want to support me as a creator in the item shop, my code is YoungHumor. So if you guys want to support me, definitely put in my code. It helps me out a ton. I definitely appreciate it. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I actually do have two gameplays, both in which I dropped 14 kills. So I do have two pretty good games, but I want to be talking about how to play against better players, how to play against tryhard players, how to approach the gunfight, different things to look out for, and some things that I would improve on when it comes to fighting these players versus other types of players. So as you guys know, Fortnite has added bots into the game, so from time to time you're going to run into people who are completely clueless. I mean, they're just AIs, and it's really easy to identify which ones are AIs, because every single time that I've killed an AI, a player that just looks completely unnormal, just completely out of it, most of the time they don't end up spectating. So that's how you can tell if you run into a bot player in this game, is if you kill them and you just know they just don't seem right, they seem really bad, and they don't spectate you, most of the time you can guarantee that it's going to be a bot player. But I want to be talking about the really good players you run into, the people that are a lot more tryhardish, I guess you can say. And for myself, I play controller on my PC, so I run against keyboard and mouse tryhards every single game, and it's honestly one of the most annoying things to play. I really wish I can just play controller players, but unfortunately I do have to play against those PC players who just whip it right across their desk with their, using their entire forearm with their mouse to whip out their 90s, and it's just something that I have to deal with every single game. And for me, since I'm on controller and I am on a little bit lower sensitivity, I would consider it maybe medium. I play on a 7 right now, X and Y, so it's a little bit in the medium range, not too high, not too low. But a lot of times I still can get outbuilt a lot of times by this type of players. They are faster at building, are faster at editing, but there is some things I do that can give me an advantage, that does give me sort of a leeway to help me win these type of gunfights. And there's certain things that I do that actually do increase my chances of winning in those gunfights, because overall a lot of those gunfights, if they're really good, can be 50-50 because they are very good players. But there's certain things that I do that really do give me an advantage. And so one of those things are, and it's just one of those things that you just have to improve on the most, and that's going to be box fights. And this is something that's so crucial in this season, because I've mentioned this in a lot of my other videos, but if you haven't heard it yet, and you guys already know, there isn't any mobility in the game. You have boats, of course, but there isn't launch pads. You don't have impulse grenades, shot grenades, bounce pads. Anything you can name is not in the game. So this really does make a huge difference and takes a toll on how the game is played, because there isn't any movement. It makes it a lot more difficult to try to outplay those better players, because you can't, go for some crazy IQ play with the impulse grenade, bounce pads, or anything like that. So it can be a little bit of a struggle in that aspect, but also at the same time, the game is a little bit more simpler. So if you do like the simple building and editing type stuff, that's going to play a huge role. But the reason why I want to talk about box fights, and the reason why this is so crucial and just going to be something that's going to lead you to get a lot more wins against these type of players, is because, like I said, there's no mobility. So a lot of gunfights are gunfight on gunfight and build fight on build fight. And for those of you players who aren't the best at building, not really the best, I mean, like, I'm talking maybe a little bit better than average, but against these players you're not really catching up. They are out competing you, they are out cranking you with their 90s, and it's hard to keep up. Then you have to just settle for just sitting down low in a box and having them push you. And this is really where you can shine if you are very good at box fights, because even if you're bad at building, if you can win box fights consistently, then honestly you don't even have to be good at building for the most part. You can honestly just rely on box fights and win a lot of games, and also a lot of gunfights against these type of players game after game. Now there is a lot of strategies I can go into when it comes to box fights, but when it comes to these things, one thing that I noticed really well that helps a ton is going for quick window edits, and specifically when you want to do this is as they're mining your wall, because for a player on their perspective, right, if they're going to mine your wall, it basically gives you, I would say, I couldn't give you like a clear estimate, but it does give you, I would say, at least 1 to 2 seconds, because if the player wants to pull a shotgun on you, they have to switch to their shotgun. So they're going for their pickaxe to their shotgun, and their shotgun has to pull out. So if you are quick, you can go for a lot of quick edits on that player as soon as they try to pickaxe your wall, and this is a prime time to go for the shot, because if they're right outside your box and just waiting for you, this is a really bad time to go for a shot, because if they already have their gun out, already looking at you, that's not the best time. The best time is when they pull out their pickaxe and they're trying to go for a hit on your wall, and specifically it's the first hit. So as soon as they pull out their pickaxe to go for a hit on your wall, that's the best time, because after that first hit or after that second, if you have a wood wall, it's only 2 hits. And after that second hit, most times the other player, after they hit it for the second time, they're going to expect you to try and make some sort of play. But if you do it on the first time that they hit your wall, a lot of times it's unexpected, and a lot of people don't do it right away. So this can lead a lot of people to be caught off guard, and that's just going to be the number one way to beat better players, is just catching them off guard. And like I said, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and I think box fights are a very good way if you know how to play them correctly. So catching them off guard is really going to be the best bet. And as you see, a play right there is something that I've seen Cypher do quite a bit, and it's honestly a very good play to get quick shots on other players, because as you can see, the player I'm playing against is still a pretty try-hard player, but I was able to snag his wall and get the elimination on him. But that first shot when I hit him for 70 some damage was a very good shot. And I don't always recommend this, because your timing has to be very crucial, because when the player is outside of your box and you want to go for that quick shot, it can be very good to use, because like I said, you have a free open window because of the turbo build. It's like a 0.15 second. If you can time it right, you can hit that guy for a solid headshot, a solid body shot with your shotgun, and can do a lot of damage and pretty much back them off and give you an advantage in the fight. But one thing you do have to worry about when you do that is a lot of players that I go against, for control it's a lot harder, but if you are playing against PC players, one thing that I notice they do is if they get control of the wall, the second they do, they take control of your wall, they edit your wall, or their wall, because they stole it, and then they place a ramp, and then they edit the ramp in your box. And the reason why they place the ramp inside of your box is because once they place that ramp in there, you're pretty much screwed. It's a really good move on their part, but it's very hard to defend against, because as soon as they get the wall, as soon as they place a stair in there and they edit it, you're pretty much stuck in there. Maybe you can edit out the side, maybe you can try to go for a challenge, but either way, it's going to be very difficult to win a fight unless you happen to just change locations or get that lucky shot off and they happen to miss. But in this video, I really wanted to stress box fights, because that's been something that I've had some luck with. I've had some advantages with, because honestly, sometimes no matter if you're a good builder, intermediate builder, you are going to run into people who are just better builders and better editors. And when it comes to the season chapter 2, it's a lot more simple. It's a lot of just gunfights and build fights and editing, and that's really going to be the main focus of the season, because there isn't any mobility, anything like that. So you do have to be very cautious, and you do have to understand that that's the kind of game you're in. So, and the best way to counter it, in my opinion, there's a lot of different ways, but the best one for me is going to be trying to win box fights and really focusing on those, because it's really important. Just because, like I said, you're running into a lot of people who are better at building, and sometimes you're just not able to compete, which is fine. You're not going to be able to be better at building and editing than every single player you're in the lobby with. Some players are going to be better at aiming, some people are going to be better at building or editing, whatever the case may be. So from time to time, you're going to be running against better players who have maybe better editing, better building. But also another really good way that you can go against these players is try to understand the moves that they play on you. And what I mean by that, when I talked about when they took the wall and they placed a stair in there, a lot of these fights and a lot of these shots that these players are doing against me, I can almost 100% predict what they're doing. Sometimes I'm just not fast enough and I can't really react quick enough, but most of the time I've never seen something that, they've never done something that I've never seen before. And this can give me advantage in a lot of instances because I kind of have an idea or kind of know exactly what they want to do before they do it. So it does give me a little bit of leeway so I can at least try to prepare for what they're trying to do. Sometimes if you're low enough on HP, it's going to be way too hard to defend. But sometimes, the most part, that's the best thing you can do is just try to understand what the other player is trying to do and also try to counter and play it to its disadvantage. And with that being said, that's wrap it up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.